surface contact, 8,000 yards.
Is this some kind of exercise?
Probably. I want to have this thing thoroughly investigated.
We'll get a team in the water right away.
Get me on it.
Don't think that's a good idea!
Got it, Chief.
Get out of there, Alex.
Boy, today is a historic day. Today marks the day that Hollywood has officially run out of fucking ideas, man.
I thought that happened already like 3 or 4 times.
No, we thought it happened, but we saw this, and it's like, no, today is it. I mean, today it's like we were speculating before. Now it's no doubt.
I'm sorry, I won't call it as official until they make a movie based on brawny paper towels. But with the brawny man, that's when they run out.
Well,
right now they still got a little something.
Well, they already made a movie about toilet paper because Hollywood has wiped their ass with us right now.
This is as close as it's gotten. This is marketing the movie, and it's obviously for Battleship the game. It's for Coke Zero, which you cannot miss, and it's for the U.S. Navy.
Yeah, go Navy.com.
Yeah, so totally, and that's it. That's all this movie is. They're like, we don't need a screenwriter. It's all the excitement of watching 2 people play Battleship while drinking Coke Zero in Navy outfits.
And why can't Hollywood make a fucking game movie that I actually want to see, like Hopscotch, or fucking, that'd be fucking badass. Throw some aliens in that shit. Yeah.
And how would exactly Hopscotch work as a movie?
When the aliens come stomping, you better stop hopping.
Michael Bay's Jenga
in 3D.
Well, it's funny, man, because I'm the type of person, I'm not that cynical to where I say nothing can work. I when they said they were going to start making movies out of games, I said, I'm going to give them a chance. I'm going to see what they do with this. I'm not going to criticize anything. You know my motto, Leon.
No, I know. No matter how many bad video game movies they make, you keep coming back saying they're going to get it right eventually.
No, fuck
You'll
you.
see.
That's not what I say. You know what I say. No, I say anything is possible if you do it right. But this right here, Battleship, they stretched that bitch until it broke and popped me in the eye.
What? Yeah, you starting to rethink that credo.
I'm like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I need to start thinking about what I'm talking about.
Quantum physics be damned. Some things are just not possible.
I went in this open-minded, though, because, remember how cynical we were when they first made Pirates of the Caribbean?
Sure.
We went, that is the dumbest fucking idea ever, to make a Disney theme park ride. And we walked out going, well, fuck, that was actually pretty cool.
Leon, didn't you say that about Avengers? That shit ain't fucking happening. That dumbass crap.
Wow. So you got your memory banks back. Matter of fact, I like because some members pointed out that you said it too.
Oh, did I? Oh, yeah. I say a lot of dumb shit. Yeah,
yeah. You ready to admit it, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Pirates of the Caribbean, though, and man, as much as that movie made us shut up and we loved it. Didn't really have nothing to do with the ride.
Not really. Where's Battleship?
Well, hey, neither does this. Dude.
Yeah, it didn't have nothing to do with the game.
Yeah, I hate to break the news to you.
That's where I disagree with you completely.
No. They totally crowbarred in the game.
Slavish. It's right on. We've got to sell all the angles of the game. They do everything but have the film stop and have them go, you sunk my battleship.
Yeah. Well, they do go, they ain't sinking this battleship.
Right.
All right, you had to work it in there somewhere.
I mean, I'm really surprised that there wasn't a point, as far as that goes, the whole, there's a point with a whole bunch of senior citizens who get to be badasses, old Navy dudes. And I'm like, they did everything with that level of it, but have them hoist up a flag like the statue,
right. Hey, all I have to say is that the fact that they actually got a Japanese guy to make all that shit make sense had me convinced. I was like, hey, as long as you got a Japanese guy in there telling me what I should know, then I'm sold. I'm sorry.
Well, anytime you see a Japanese guy where monsters are attacking or aliens are attacking, it adds a little more legitimacy to it.
I know, there's more credibility to the story.
Yeah, it does. What story we have here, I don't know what to tell you. It ain't no real fucking story here.
No.
Somebody graduated from the Michael Bay School of Filmmaking because Peter Berg in this movie. Now, this is one of the things that actually had me thinking this might be okay. Because Peter Berg, I think he's a competent director. His resume varies in quality of what movies you see, but he's made some really good movies. Friday Night Lights is one of his films.
Which just has 2 of the alumni from the television show in it.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
The Kitchen, who else?
The guy who's the ginger Matt Damon.
Oh, that guy. Okay, yeah.
And then you have, I guess his last movie, though, was Hancock.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
So,
Yeah.
so I mean, I really like that movie that he did with The Rock, and The Rundown, and Sean William Scott. So I'm looking at this, I'm like, this guy's never made a movie that I haven't liked, but
Not until now.
again, history in the making.
I was shocked it was him too, because I'm watching this and this feels like an 18-year-old kid directed it who grew up on really bad Michael Bay films, who was too young to know any better. But that was his big influence. It's like, whereas Michael Bay grew up watching Steven Spielberg films, we're seeing this watered down thing, and this really, it feels like this is the next stage.
Michael Bay didn't grow up
20
watching.
years. Every movie we watch is going to look like this.
Michael Bay didn't grow up watching movies. He grew up watching car wrecks and explosions. I mean,
I almost want to give this some credit in the beginning, because I was like, okay, this movie is clearly, like, of all the movies it's ripping off, it's one of the biggest ones is Battle for Los Angeles. And it's like, all right, you got your soldiers, you got to set them all up and then get into the battle with aliens. But I was like, you know what, this is actually taking some time with these characters so that you get to know them. Now, I ain't saying I liked them.
Well, that's the problem, is that you do get to know them enough to decide that you really don't like them.
Right.
Yeah.
But so often, like with Battle of Los Angeles, they were so generic. It was like, wow, you guys aren't even trying. This is insulting. It's like, all right, this is not good, but you are trying. You got something going. And then it just went on for too long. And then, finally, the aliens. I was like, now we got something, and now wow, it was less boring before the aliens got here.
What story there is here, it's not very detailed, I have to say. The Navy gets attacked by aliens after NASA discovers that there's some planet out there in some far solar system that's very similar to Earth. So we decide to, as all fucked up scientists like to do, they like to call people, they like to call aliens and say, hey guys, we're here. Why don't you come over for some tea and come down and visit? And then the aliens come down and it's like, oh, we'll take cream sugar and your ass with that. They'll come down. Every alien, whenever we make contact with aliens, they want to come down and take over the planet. That's what we have here. If you want to go deeper into this story, the character development that you're talking about, Leon, is very annoying to me in this movie, because you have Taylor Kish, who we last remember from another not-so-great movie.
John Carter.
Yeah.
Whenever this guy gets to aliens,
Boy,
things don't go well.
History in the making.
I know you want to call that disaster movie 2? Yeah.
And that movie was just plain disaster, period. But yeah, now my problem with him is that Taylor Kish plays a guy, and they had to set him up as a guy who's a total fuck-up. And the problem with me in that aspect is that they take like half an hour to tell you that this guy is a fuck up. I mean, I got it.
Yeah,
it's like we don't need to, how many more ways can you tell me that this guy sucks?
Not just a little bit of a fuck up, like he's arrested for doing stupid shit. I mean, he is dumb.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it's like they try to make the central hero, he's a frat boy. And nobody wants to root for the goddamn frat boy,
But
ever.
then they turn around and they're like, okay, well, he's forced into joining the Navy because he's that bad a fuck up, and here it is, can't be more than a year or two later.
And he's already
judging by age, he's a lieutenant.
Yeah, lieutenant. Yeah,
That's the problem with the movie. I mean, this guy who's a complete screw up. It's not that you just don't like the character. It's not that you just spend so much time trying to really dig in. Hey, because they're trying hard. They say, hey, look, this guy, he's screwing up, but wait, he's gonna get his time.
He's Maverick. He's Maverick.
Oh, he's crazy. Look, he's screwing up again. But just you wait, he's gonna be a hero. And see, the thing that bothers me is that we get to see this guy mess it up. Now, it's one thing to say that this guy's he's messing up. He's going to have his redemption later on in the movie. He's going to grow as a character. But they wasted no time giving this guy the girl. He's a great athlete. He's just on top of the world. And on top of that, you're right, Cyrus. We're thinking like, okay, well, he's got all these good things, but surely he's a fuck up in the military. No, somehow, some way, he skipped all the way up in a matter of months to being a lieutenant in the Navy.
Which, let me remind you, he's not only a lieutenant, like, he's still fucked up. They're still going, they're going to kick your ass out of the Navy, man. You suck. Oh, and by the way, will you go out there and be the lead on this first contact with alien life mission? What just happened? Didn't we just have that cut? Never mind.
You've got skills, but I have never, ever seen a man waste them like you. Keep the ship out of the surf and spray,
Or you will plunge to destruction. Homer, sir.
The fact that you know that infuriates me beyond words. What my daughter sees in you is a great mystery to me. You're a very smart individual with very weak character, leadership, and decision-making skills. Do you have anything to say to me? Anything?
Negative, sir.
Enjoy these naval exercises, Hopper. They're likely to be your last.
Well, while all that is going on, I remember being in the theater going, weren't there fucking aliens in this fucking
That's the
movie?
thing,
Yeah, you're right. It's like
40
an
minutes.
hour.
40
of
minutes.
is it
I
40
looked at my
40 minutes?
watch before they finally land.
Of it just being like, a Navy propaganda movie. As a matter of fact, the one thing I kept thinking through this, I was like, you know what? If they really want to make money, they should have just got rid of all these actors we know and gone the way of acts of valor and got actual, Navy officers in this movie. It's like, hey, you'll get that Navy crowd.
Well, they did, actually. A lot of these people in here were real Navy
But, I mean, they could have
officers.
just done it with all of them because there wasn't like any great dialogue that had to be delivered by actors. Matter of fact, they have a bunch of just regular soldiers in there delivering that poor dialogue very poorly.
I lost count at one point how many times a shot and the one line of dialogue was, "What's that? What is that? What is that thing?" I mean, literally, they would like make a point to go, "Jerome, let's go to this other scene. What's happening with these people over there?" Zoom in on them. They say, "What the heck is that?" Really? We went all the way over there just for that? We were thinking that too.
There's a lot of nothing. There's a lot of nothing going on in this movie for the first hour. A lot of nothing. And the thing is, the way they set this movie up to get the feel of the game is that the aliens build this dome, which creates somewhat of a grid, leaving 3 ships as far as the Navy is concerned, and 3 of their ships. So.
Oh, yeah, and their radar can't see each other.
Right. Yeah,
on either side, so they have to play these elaborate guessing games to decide where to fire their missiles, which no shit goes on for 20 minutes of this movie of just watching where the camera's whoa, dramatically zooming in on this computer grid.
Yeah.
You're like, what are we watching
Yeah,
here?
I couldn't get that. I was like, how could your grid map this if you don't have radar?
Yeah.
This doesn't. But I'm like,
you can't think about that.
You can't think about
it's
that.
not. That's what this movie is not what that's supposed to be. Where this is a movie when they made it, this is we're not going to try to bring any real story, any logic. We're using the bare essentials here. We have this game and we have to make it work, and we have to make it work for today's audiences, which is what's the biggest thing right now that people fucking go and spend money on like crazy during the summer? Transformers. Right. Let's give them a little bit of that, and we'll give them a little bit of nostalgia with this game that we can tack on, and people will see it. Their dads will come out and see it, and they'll bring their kids to fucking see it because it's a goddamn game. But the thing is, the movie loses all sense of fun and adventure and everything you need. A central character that you're rooting for. Aliens that you're looking at going, wow, those are fucking badass looking aliens.
Yeah,
those are some really elaborate looking ships that I've never seen before.
Yeah,
and you get none of that.
Rather than the Predator toys you would buy at a flea market.
They're like hipster porcupines. What was that about, right?
Oh yeah, that was the worst thing about it. It's like, you say, all right, I'm sitting up here watching this, and they're taking too long, and you're right. I mean, you don't look at this movie for believability at all. I mean, don't even ask. If this movie was believable, they wouldn't give this fucking idiot Taylor Kitsch his own ship to command in the movie. That's the kind of dumbass you wouldn't even give an inner tube to.
And if you want to go there, they wouldn't be able to contact aliens from another galaxy either.
Yeah, well, but
that's just impossible.
But when they do, you're sitting up there and you're excusing all this stuff. You're like, well, you know what, man? I'm just gonna wait because the aliens might come down and then they might be really cool looking. They might be really badass, and then they get one of the aliens. They come and take the helmet off, and not only does he look,
he's wearing Halo on.
Well, not only does he look like he's human, but he's got a goatee. I mean, apparently these aliens come from a planet of dope smokers, and they just decided one day, let's go to Earth and take over all the Starbucks.
Apparently, the singer of Alice in Chains went to another planet, fucked all their aliens, and they came back to get revenge.
Alice in Chains
looking for their daddy.
I was expecting 2 of those aliens to take their helmets off, and it was going to be Shaggy and Scooby Doo. Like, hey, Scoob, let's take over the
honestly, they should have gotten guitars and started playing, because the other thing that it really annoyed the shit out of me was all the goddamn 90s rock that they were just throwing shit in. Like, they were throwing every AC/DC song you can think of, and I'm just like, wow, why are they fucking rocking out to AC/DC when this guy is going from the bottom of the ship to the top of the ship to go look at the fucking aliens? Why do we need the soundtrack every 5 minutes?
It was funny when there was a point when I was expecting them to take the alien's helmet off and just a big old puff of smoke come out from under, and the aliens are like, hey man.
Well, so it was kind of incompetent with the soundtrack. Even that point where early on one we were talking about where Taylor Kitsch was doing something surreptitious, and they throw in the Pink Panther theme.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're just like,
yeah, that
I
was
looking
the
around
worst.
going, what the fuck is going on
Well, that
here?
whole thing with him like sneaking into the convenience store, the Pink Panther, I was like, oh, that's cute, his heist music. But then the rest is like, all right, you guys just stole that from those YouTube videos of the guys breaking into stores.
I think they was trying to spoof that, but it didn't work too well.
No.
No, it had me going, what the fuck?
Yeah. You mentioned a good point there, co-host. If you watch the trailer for this, you see a lot of things in there, and mostly you see Liam Neeson. Mm-hmm. They make it seem like Liam, because I think they even put his name up there first. Battleship. I think his name comes up before Battleship. Liam Neeson in Battleship. I mean,
they have to.
They make it seem like he's the star of this movie. People, I'm not bullshitting you. This is the truth. This is not an exaggeration. He is in this movie, total clocking time, 5 minutes.
Well, he literally phones his role in here because his whole part is talking to people on a radio. That's his. Like you show him miles away from where anything is happening, going, "God damn it, we got to do something about this."
Oh yeah, that was.
He makes a couple of speeches, but at the very beginning, and then he's like, "Are y'all done with this shit? All right, let me come in and read my line."
That was that was a point where he was actually smoking. The cameras on. He didn't even know. He's like, "Oh shit, I'm supposed to be yelling at somebody. You come here. The fuck are you doing? Get out of here!"
He played the role of your dad who would call you at your friend's house, making sure you're all right. You're playing your Battleship, and you're doing everything okay. You're not fucking up. He was that guy.
He almost like came on to like just. I almost tell the audience, you out there, wake up. Are you asleep? Watch the rest of this fucking movie. I'm in it now.
And I just love how they just had to throw in skills. Every piece of dialogue had the word skills in it. And I was like, are you trying to do something funny here or something? Oh, your skills at Battleship, they're really shitty. Oh. And I'm just like, okay. Wow. But the thing is, the saving grace of this movie is that he is not in it that long, because I swear to God, the pungent stench that this movie left on me. I'm glad I don't even have to think about Liam Neeson when I see him in the trailer now, because I'm like, thank God he was only in the movie for 5 minutes, because he doesn't have to walk around with this piece of shit, on his shoulder. Just like on the left side of his shoulder, he has the Phantom Menace that he always has to walk around with. But I'm like, man, I guess he was doing somebody a favor with this movie, because this movie didn't need him.
As bad as every aspect of this film is, really, I mean, like, there's so many things that are terrible, from the giant plot holes to the performances, which are my
atrocious.
God, bad. And in fact, one guy they got this ridiculous subplot, this Navy guy who had his legs blown off, who is a real guy who, that's the case, he walks on 2 prosthetic legs, but the guy is not an actor.
No.
You're like, God, what the hell are you doing? But even worse than that is that the dialogue is just so banal. It's like they really did not try. It's as if it was someone else's job to come in later and rewrite, like, this was just a skeleton script, and we'll add the joke. Yeah, placeholders. Yeah. We'll add the jokes later. We'll change this line just so it's a little more interesting, so we don't use the exact same line 30, 40 times. And they never got around to it.
No, it's been a long time since I've been in the theater, and I felt embarrassed for the movie because of the dialogue. It's like, man, I feel like I wrote this shit. It's so bad. I'm like, ugh.
Well, it's also got that problem that it spends way too much time on just bullshit. Like, it's got that whole 40-minute setup that goes on way too long. And then when the first battle starts, there's a lot of shooting, but it doesn't mean anything. I'm like, man, get past this. But then when it gets to the end, it just wraps it up way too quickly, like just kind of leaving loose ends. Like, wow, you just had some of your main characters here in a big explosion, and now we're cutting to where, okay, everybody's at an award ceremony. Like, what the hell is happening?
you're right about that. I mean, look, the movie tries to, like, rise above what it has there, and it fails on all those levels. I mean, that thing you're talking about, they try to bring in these guys to add some authenticity to it, I guess, to appeal to people who want to join the military. I don't know why they do that. I mean, because you're seeing people with their legs blown off. If I was the kid, I'd be
exactly.
I mean, you're not selling people on to get into the Navy with this movie, because there's a whole scene where people are missing limbs and arms and feet and legs, and I'm like, fuck that. I'm not joining the military. Shit, I want to keep my limbs.
I mean, unless it's saying, like, hey, join the military, and you can come out bionic.
Yeah, well, and then they try to do that. They try to give respect, and I understand, and I do. I respect the movie for trying to respect veterans. I mean, there's that scene that you're talking about with the guy. They have an actor here, big guy who has no legs, and his whole his whole thing is he's upset because he can't walk. He has a lot of anger, and I'm like, you shouldn't be upset about your walking disability. It's your acting disability that you need to think about. Because that guy, I mean, I respect that guy, and that's lovable that you're trying to do that, but the guy cannot act.
It's sad. No. Look. It's sad when the guy's legs act better than he does. I mean, that is just that is.
You know what I thought? I told you the movie. I said, you know what? It would be really cool because there's a point where and it looks like it's gonna be badass. He has to confront one of these aliens and these big old mech armors, and I'm like, now it'd be really cool if his legs transformed. You know? He shot out bullets or something.
Turns into a tank. Then rolls into the water and turns into a battleship.
You know, I mean, you say all that, but I can't respect the movie for that because I go, what is that actually doing for veterans? I go, nothing. All it's doing is creating this veneer in the film, like, all right, we got to respect these guys because it's like giving respect for the veterans. It's a cheap trick to make you invested in the film.
I did feel like it was cheap when it was showed all the guys with their prosthetics. I was like, I kind of did like that. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
I did too.
It's showing that, like, you know, there's life after this, and these guys are just as capable, and you know, they made a sacrifice. It wasn't later until they brought out the old sailor's home.
Yes,
and
but you know
Popeye
what?
and his amazing friends to man that battleship. I was like,
when you heard Popeye from the distance go, "That's all I can stand, and I can't stand no more."
Yeah, that was kind of cheap to me. That part, that part you're talking about, where they showed all the guys with the limbs missing. I did feel like that was sincere. But there's a part where they got to bring out to make a connection to the game. They have to bring out, and look, I'm sorry if this is spoiling for everybody. It's not, but fuck, man.
Not spoiling
come on. You know, there's a part where they got to pay homage to the game by bringing out the true old classic battleship. And to do it, the new guys are like, well, we don't know what the fuck to do with this. It runs by steam and all that kind of fuck that.
there's dials on that. I don't see an Apple logo.
I don't see an iPad and connected to anything right here. But
Crank, what the hell is that?
But then the old guys come out and that is kind of cheap to me. I mean, it's a clever idea to try to do it. And I actually thought that was the point where they brought the fun in for the movie. I don't think it worked all the way because when they brought the old guys out, I mean, there's a guy with like a poop deck pappy beard. There's another dude who's like at a skipper's head, looking like the little kid on the Cracker Jack box. I'm just like, you know, where's the guy with the parrot on his shoulder? You know?
No, look, Grandpa Simpson actually made a cameo in the movie. But the thing is, if I could say anything good about the movie, that's the one aspect that I liked. When that scene happened, I was like, wow, this, though, is how the movie should have started and how it should have ended. It should have been a short YouTube fucking like skit. And it should have started with the old guys, like, going on the ship, attacking the aliens, and then that's it.
Can I say something to that? That's a brilliant idea, and I didn't even think about that. I was what they did, because I will tell you, I liked the last 30 seconds of this movie. Now, you know, it was about the last 20 minutes after like an hour and a half of bullshit. They finally got to something I thought was clever in the movie. I'm talking about how cheap it is to bring these guys out, but it's cheap because they brought them out near the end. The old dudes in this movie that they bring out to fight on this old battleship, that should have been the hook of this movie.
It really should.
That should have been the whole film.
The actual movie should have. Yeah, you're right. Because I was like, you know what? This scene, I know what you're saying. How it's kind of fun. It's like it's stupid, but it's kind of fun in the same time. But not. But at this point in the movie, it's not. Like they've done too many things against that. To pull that in now, it's like, no, get that out.
It kind of saved it to me because I was already in a state of delirium where I was going crazy. So when that happened, I was like, good. This is the injection of fun that I needed.
Only conceptually, though, because even the same old hoary, terrible dialogue. They've got old people saying things that you don't normally see old people say, so you can get a laugh out of it.
But that's why it's funny.
I don't know, man. I like that part. The only part that kind of confused me is okay, if anybody remembers the old game, the classic line from the commercial for the game is, "You sank my battleship." And they had a guy, not only could they not say that line in this movie because of the way the story was constructed, but they had a guy deliver a line similar to it, and he delivered it in the worst way. It was one of the old dudes. He was like, "You're not going to sink my battleship today." And that was it.
I wish I could have heard him because half those. I was waiting for just somebody to like try to turn the ship and then actually have a heart attack and die, not by an alien, but just by old age.
Flew out right there.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, you know, it worked for me. But that is the only goddamn thing.
Well, I'll tell you, the most offensive thing to me about this movie is that Hasbro, they bring this movie in. They don't try. They don't try. This is why I think this is worse than something like Transformers because this is a ripoff of what Michael Bay does. Say what you will about Michael Bay, but Michael Bay is a true animal. You know, he does what is his nature. But when they hired Peter Berg, he probably had ideas, and they said, nope. Do what Michael Bay did.
It's sad.
He probably said, well, why don't you just hire Michael Bay? Because he's not available. Do what we tell you to do.
It's kind of sad and embarrassing when the movie you makes Michael Bay's movies look like, an actual piece of work, an actual piece of like some thought went in there as far as the process of storytelling.
I would appreciate Michael Bay to come in because I'm serious. This is from the Michael Bay School of Acting. If Michael Bay had to give a grade on this, he would give this a D. He's like, okay, you know what? This is bland. Now, say what you will about me, but this could have used some Negro bots. This could have used a little bit of homophobia in it. We need a fine-ass girl bent over a car somewhere. If you're going to do what I do, make it exciting.
Yeah.
I
call all those distractions.
Yeah, exactly. You look at a Michael Bay movie, you're like, damn, those things are bad, but at least they've spiced something up here.
Oh, he would also in red pen write very big, not enough Shia LaBeouf.
Well, one of the things that he did in this movie, and that didn't make any sense. This is why it's so much worse than something like as a Michael Bay ripoff. It takes what Michael Bay does and really just takes the rule of if we don't know what to do, just blow something up. There's a scene in here where they have yo-yos. Like mechanical giant yo-yos. Why the fuck that wasn't part of the game? Why this design? I don't know. There's nothing exciting about it. It's just fucking yo-yos attacking the city. And literally when they attack the city, there's one yo-yo that can actually look, and he's like, I'm gonna blow that up. I'm gonna blow that up right there. I'm gonna blow that up. It's just
there was a weird thing there, as if like there was gonna be a subplot at some point or a point where it would turn out that the aliens weren't all bad,
right?
Because they would like show this thing where anything that was a threat they'd see in red, and anything that wasn't a threat they'd see in green, and sometimes they'd change, and it would be like there was a point where it saw this little kid, and it's like, oh, that's just a little kid. We won't kill him, so they're not all bad. But then later there's some sort of thing like, oh no, wait, they can't really see things that aren't a threat to them. How does this work? Doesn't make
you're
any
making
sense
you're making my brain hurt right now.
I mean, there's even a point where,
like,
where the scientist has a case. The scientist, right? Like, they clearly sees him. We see the alien vision looking at him, and all the alien does is, like, stop, like, the thing he's holding from shaking, because I guess it irritated him.
Because the alien looks and he goes, nerd.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Not a threat.
This movie doesn't know what it wants to do.
Was that?
It doesn't know what it wants to do. I mean, it really, there's a point where they're just blowing up so much shit, they lost track of what they were fucking doing.
Yeah.
And you're right about the yo-yos. I think this guy tried to make the yo-yo movie before somebody told him no. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking do it anyway.
There was a point with that yo-yo. That's what I'm trying to say. That yo-yo looked at that little kid, and it looked at it and said, does this kid blow up? No. But that does over there. And went and blew up a whole highway.
Yeah.
I mean,
he looked at that kid and go, future consumer.
Yeah,
and then, took off the other way.
Yeah, this movie, man, it doesn't know what the fuck it wants to do. This movie's goddamn lost, man. That fucking script blew up with this
it's about
shit.
as lost as that yo-yo, yeah.
If there's anybody that would say that comes out of this looking okay, at the beginning of the film, I like that Skarsgård kid. What's his name?
Alexander
Skarsgård. Now, that is Stellan Skarsgård's son.
Yeah.
I mean, he's at the beginning of the film. He seems to be the only guy who you like because he's taking things seriously. He's in charge. He's telling Taylor Kitsch, you're a fucking dumbass, get a job, get out of my life, join the Navy, do something with yourself. I mean,
that's funny. And then you and Alan.
Yeah, exactly. But
I was kind of surprised that I thought Rihanna had a lot of charisma in this. I mean, she didn't get a lot to do, but I was like, you know what? She's actually not bad in this.
I was going to say the editor.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Because there's some choppy ass editing, especially on her stuff.
Yeah, Rihanna, she comes out looking good just because they kept her short. I mean, she only had about every scene she was in. She only had about 5 or 6 things to say.
It's one of those things like my gauge as far as bad acting. Where I was with her, I was like, okay, it's fine, and then they cut the scene.
And you know what's funny about it? In the credits, they actually give credit to Rihanna's acting coach. And I was like, well, that was an easy check because she didn't do that much in this movie. I mean, what the fuck, man? Listen, this movie is straight up some bullshit, man. To me, it's almost a lovable kind of bullshit because it's so cute and how it feels in a way. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, you really did try to take something and do it. When you stop the movie to actually watch people play Battleship. I'm like, man, you had some balls on you. You really did. You had some gumph to you, but no.
You really did tell Hollywood to go fuck itself.
Yeah, and
the rest
too.
of us.
I admire you for really giving an effort there, but no, it's a no. It's some more bullshit.
I know what you mean about it being cute. There's just little moments here and there where it's like, oh, that was kind of fun. I wonder. Oh shit! Never mind. You fucked it up. Just stop doing it. There's not a single original thing in here.
No,
you're way too reminded of Transformers and Battle for Los Angeles and Acts of Valor and
Top Gun.
even
fucking
Top Gun.
Titanic. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. It's just a phrase that you coined, a pastiche of bullshit. and the thing is, just because of the parts that were like so dumb that it were making me laugh, I was almost kind of gonna ease up on it. But the fact that it goes over 2 hours, I'm like, I'm sorry. There's just no excuse for that. It's just some old bullshit.
Yeah, I mean everything that you guys said. Really, it's just not entertaining. There's only one line in the whole thing that made me even so much as chuckle. There's nothing that I thought was like, wow, that was a cool action bit or anything. I mean, there's nothing to recommend this. And I'm thinking like, well, the U.S. Navy had to have signed off on this thing, right? I mean, they had to have said, yeah, this is good. You're letting you use a lot of our equipment, clearly, for this film, because there's no way they built a fucking battleship. And it wasn't CG. So I was like, well, what does the Navy get out of this? And then it occurred to me, oh, people are going to see that movie and they're going to go, God damn, man, I am wasting my life sitting here watching shit like this. I should go do something with it, like join the Navy. But no, this is some old bullshit. Absolutely.
You know what? They'll get guys in theater who go like, see, man, I told you the Navy's not gay.
I'm sorry, I was about to say, I thought Village People did it better as far as recruiting people for the Navy. This movie kind of embarrasses that whole branch. I joined. And then they see the movie and they're, never mind. But no, I mean, this makes you think about all those movies it's ripping off and just makes you think, wow, those movies weren't all that bad, you know? Yeah, and the thing is, like I said, with this movie, the biggest tragedy about this film is that the sense of fun and adventure is completely gone. The acting is on a level of atrociousness that I haven't seen in quite a while. But like I said, I mean, it was that one little moment that with the old guys, like fighting the aliens, where I was like, you know what? I thought you didn't have a heart, but you got a little in there. It's trying to beat. It's trying to beat.
Hey, did you, when those old guys came on, did you want them to start playing?
Where's me spinach?
Oh, I've had this nightmare with all of you talking like that.
And now I know what to get you. We should all like stand around you when you sleep. When you wake up, you're like,
Hey, look at the service.
Hey.
Gotta wake up. Yeah.
Tires,
I've been doing
it'll,
review. We gotta go watch the movie.
it'll be better than the movie, all right?
yeah. You mean worse than the nightmare you saw tonight?
But you know, and also the crime of throwing Liam Neeson into this bullshit is like another tragedy too. But so many tragedies. It's a bigger tragedy than the Titanic ever was. And but it is some old bullshit. But I have to salute those little old sailor guys because it was this ship was sinking so fucking fast. It was going to be a big fuck you to everyone involved in this movie. But hey, leave it to the old Navy guys to save the day.
I know, man.
Just bullshit. You know, the one thing
I love Old Navy. I got some good shirts.
We were talking the other day, some of the other production crew and I myself, we were saying, one of the great things to come out of this movie, if anything, is to see what they will do with other movies or the board games changing the movies later on, because you know that they're going to do it and it will be nothing like the game. One of the ideas somebody had, they said they were talking about like an action movie that would start out with a guy saying, McCain, you got to get to the third level and save the governor's daughter. He's like, I got in through the roof by a ladder. He's like, and now he cocks his gun.
only there was a shoot.
Yeah, well, he like cocks his gun. He's like, and I'll bring the shoots. You said Jenga earlier. We were talking about if you had a villain on the phone and he was like, I've taken over the construction crew, and they knock out the side of a tower and the tower's top is like, I will take out a section of this building, but every hour my demands aren't met. Who are you? You're a madman. I am. Jenga.
Hey, do you have that old Battleship board game so I could take those pegs and shove them down my goddamn ears right now so I don't have to hear any more of these crazy
Oh,
ideas?
just wait till Checkers comes out, boy. That's gonna be hype.
Not Checkers.
And Light Bright the movie? That's going to be the shit.
They've created a barrier.
My radar's totally out.
They can't seem to penetrate it.
We have 3 destroyers still unaccounted for, so it's conceivable we do have somebody inside.
What are your orders?
We're going in.